Welcome all in all. Hope you're doing well, hope you're staying safe. It's Friday, May the 8th. It's a little chilly here in Orlando this morning, but really nice, no wind. Okay, lots of news to catch up on. We've got the normal US cases, Florida cases, up a little bit yesterday, but still trending downwards overall. Still good news overall. Massive news, Disney Springs is reopening on May the 20th, but not with full capacity. So the Disney stores and Disney dining is not opening. Third-party stuff is. They haven't announced exactly which stores and which dining is open right now, but I'm going to be finding out on May the 20th. A reminder that Disney resorts will open in two phases, 50% and 75%. Recap on that. An update on Disney World resort operations when they do open, so that's important. Another questionnaire has been sent out by Universal Orlando, and this really looks at people's, I think, mental state for do they want to come back to the parks, and if they do want to come back, in what kind of state do they want to see the parks. There was also one question about a VIP experience, which I'll go into after the news when we get back into the garden, because that was a little bit bizarre. I want to talk a little bit about Shanghai Disneyland, because they're now selling tickets for their opening on the 11th of May, and they've given some quite detailed instructions as to how people are going to gain entry, under what circumstances, and how annual pass holders will be treated. So I've put that in today, A, because it's interesting, and B, because how is that going to translate into what's going to happen in the US? I think it'll translate quite a lot. You know, they'll take that wholesale and bring it across if they can. So I'll be talking about that when we get back to the garden as well. Other news, London Heathrow is trialling temperature checks at the airport in order to get back to large-scale operations. And finally, Oxford University seem now to be leading the race to find a vaccination for COVID-19. They're saying that it could be this year, but we'll see. It has to go through a lot of trials yet. But you know, good news, heartening news for the vaccine. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you'll get this 6 days a week right now. What I haven't said over the past couple of days is a huge thanks to everybody who has subscribed at the moment. We're now just over 550 subscribers. So, you know, the channel's kind of taken off over the past few weeks. So thank you guys for watching, and thank you for subscribing. Okay, let's go to the news. Daily cases yesterday across the US were 29,531. That's up around 4,000 on the previous 3 days. In Florida, we had 826 cases yesterday, up around 250 on the previous 2 days. The big news yesterday, of course, was Disney's announcement that Disney Springs will begin a phased reopening on May the 20th. To begin with, only third-party stores and dining will be available, so no Disney outlets at the moment. A selection of the stores which may be open are now being shown, and this includes Alex and Annie, Havaianas, Lily Pulitzer, and Ron John, among others. Remember that they can only open to 25% capacity in Phase 1. As Disney Springs reopens, there will be operational changes. Increased cleaning will be introduced. The use of face coverings by both cast members and guests will be mandatory, and limited contact guest services will be available. Capacity in Disney Springs will be limited, as will parking, and operational hours will be reduced. Only Disney Springs will open on May the 20th, and no date has been given for the reopening of resorts or parks. Remember that Disney World will reopen in two phases once that starts, with park capacity being 50% in Phase 1 and 75% in Phase 2. Details of operational changes to parks and resorts have now been formally issued by Disney. These include limited capacity or closure of some rides and attractions, as well as enhanced safety measures. Disney has also announced that it's waiving its own imposed change and cancellation fees up to the date of check-in for reservations with arrivals through June the 30th. Shanghai Disneyland opens in just 3 days' time on May the 11th, and annual pass holders have been given details of how they can get into the parks. This includes the provision of basic personal information for each guest, and then on entry to the park, an official ID will need to be shown. Additionally, guests will have their temperatures checked before they enter the park. Disney has stated that children's play areas, theatre shows, parades and nighttime spectaculars will be postponed for now. Also, character meet and greets will be suspended for the time being. Shanghai Disneyland provided details of operational changes in a recent press release. This includes the need for advanced ticketing, social distancing and the wearing of face coverings while in the park except when dining. Face characters will not wear masks and therefore there will be no character interaction. Instead, groups of characters will parade through the park at given times during the day. Universal Orlando sent out another questionnaire to its annual pass holders. This questionnaire seems to be designed to understand how people have been affected by COVID-19. Questions range from one asking about the effective testing for the virus, to lifestyle changes, how people are feeling, asking if the person completing feels that they have had the virus, a health and economy question, and others. There's also one which doesn't fit in with the others, and that asks if people would pay double the normal daily entry fee for a special VIP in quotes experience. When we get back to the garden, I'll give you my thoughts on that particular question. London's Heathrow Airport is trialling temperature checks at departure gates. John Holland Kay, the boss of Heathrow Airport, said the introduction of common standards would allow airlines to start flying again more frequently. Finally, it appears that researchers at Oxford University are in the lead when it comes to finding a vaccine for COVID-19. It's reported that a vaccine could be available as early as September 2020, and the reason for the swift advance at Oxford University is because the researchers there had already developed a vaccine candidate for Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, or MERS. US cases slightly up and Florida cases slightly up yesterday. I can't tell where this is going. You read different bits of news about what's going on. It seems that in Florida, the nursing homes seem to be driving these cases. So I don't know what the state has to do or the counties have to do to get this under control, but that's where it seems to be spiking a little bit at the moment. US, we've still got some states that haven't peaked yet, some states that have opened up, some that haven't. I can't tell right now what's driving that little upturn, but the trend is still downwards, which is the main thing. So hopefully people remain sensible and go about their daily lives as they should. Hopefully they wear masks when they go to the store. Hopefully they're not sitting on a beach on a lounger. That's what we need to all do in order to make this successful. So Disney Springs opening up on May the 20th. They have said there's going to be restricted capacity. So I don't know how they're going to do that, whether they're going to just let annual pass holders in, whether they're going to let everybody in. If there's going to be barriers and you can only go in at a certain point like you can do at the new lands when they open. Or maybe you'll be given a time to go in through an app. And if that's the case, I haven't yet seen anything on the app. But we all wait with bated breath to see how we're going to get in and what's going to be open when we do get in. I'm kind of pleased that they're not opening everything at once. Maybe that'll keep the crowds down a little bit. There's no Disney stuff, there's no Disney stores open. But I'll be happy just to be able to walk around the place again. And I hope there's not a million people there. But I'll be going on May the 20th, so I'll be putting a video out the day after that. This questionnaire from Universal Orlando, they seem to like their questionnaires, don't they? I don't know why they're doing this. I guess they want to gauge their annual pass holders' view on life. They got that a couple of weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and now they want to do it again. But now it's changed, so the sentiment now is, how do you all feel? It's very touchy-feely. Do you want to come back in? Under what circumstances do you want to come back in? I understand, I'm not a universal pass holder. I understand there was a randomised question on, when would you want to come back in? If it was August or September, October, November, December. I don't know if there's anything pre-August. I hope there was. But, they're trying to suss out now when people want to come back in and under what circumstances they will come back in. When did they feel comfortable? And then there was this kind of bizarre question about, well, if the park was at half capacity, well, yeah, it's got to be anyway. And there were some VIP experiences thrown in. Would you pay double the normal daily ticket price? It said the usual price, so I'm guessing that's the daily ticket price, which is $100 plus. So would you pay $200 plus to get into a park that might be half filled, and that's about it, really? The rides are operational. Everything's working, but you're paying double the price for wearing a mask, having social distancing, and not really having a full park experience anyway. So I don't know where they're going to go with that. I can't believe many people are going to go, yeah, I'll be up for that, yeah, sign me up. But we'll see. So the details, lots of details about Disneyland Shanghai. Obviously they're opening in 3 days, so they're putting it out there for people to understand how they can get in and what's going to happen when they're in. So annual pass holders have to register. They've got to register the day that they want to go, which is, I thought that would happen, and I'm sure that will happen over here as well, just so that the US operation can keep an eye on capacity levels when it opens. And we still don't know yet when that's going to be, and we still don't know whether it's going to be one park or all 4 parks on the same day. I still think it's going to be one, and I still think it's going to be, yeah, I've been kind of hedging recently, haven't I? I'm going to say July the 1st again, which is what I originally thought when I first sort of put my marker down on April the 6th, and I'll keep going back to that day because it seems like a flipping year ago. But I think it's going to be July the 1st, and I still think it's only going to be one park just to test the water. But I think it's great news that if we can use the app for annual pass holders, because we didn't know whether it was going to be annual pass holders, still don't, or single day ticket holders. Shanghai are doing both. It's annual pass holders and single day ticket holders, and it has to be dated. So I don't know what comes first, or whether they just say, okay, up to that capacity, it's a free for all. Annual pass holders and one day ticket holders. As soon as that capacity is reached, we're done. We then move on to the next day. You then can't buy a ticket, or you can't register for that day if you're an AP holder. I think that works. That really works. So let's see how it does work from May the 11th. Temperature checks obviously are going to be in place. This registering with your ID, you've got to take an original ID, so that's going to be, I guess, a Florida driving license for me. And if you're going to come from abroad, that's going to be your passport, I'm guessing, whenever that's going to be. Obviously, international travel still way out there. Nobody knows. I'm still thinking September, maybe October, just on gut feel, on nothing else but gut feel. Steve Mnuchin reckons it could be next year. He doesn't smile a lot, Steve Mnuchin, so I'm taking him as a pessimist. I think it will be this year, and wouldn't it? So that's the news for today. Lots to think about. Again, another day with lots to think about. I'll be back tomorrow with more, and until then, stay well, stay safe. See you tomorrow. Cheers for now. Bye bye.